revival took off in Brownsville, Pensacola, which at least had real repentance preaching, but it also had a lot of this truly bizarre stuff as well. And then in 2008 came the biggest one of all, Todd Bentley and the Lakeland Revival.
This outpouring kicked off when Todd Bentley, a 32-year-old Canadian with a long-time healing ministry, came to do just 5 nights of meetings in one Lakeland church.
More than 240 potential audience, 400 million, and 10 hours a day. We're literally around the world. People are seeing what's happening here in Florida.
That's because God TV made the unprecedented and extremely expensive decision to preempt all their primetime programming and broadcast the Lakeland meetings every night.
Now, there's no question that this was one of the biggest, most publicized movements that the Christian world has ever seen.
We had 550,000 different computers have logged into the webcast. That's incredible.
But of course, the Lakeland movement was also loaded with the same bizarre manifestations as we've seen elsewhere.
A little bit of that glory's coming on me. And we have an international television audience tonight. And I got that vibrating again. Lord, let everybody vibrate.
So what were some of Todd Bentley's biggest influences? Well, he tells us himself.
But one outpouring that's most precious to me, because it brought intimacy in the presence of God to the church. It brought refreshing and renewal to the church. Was what took place in Toronto, Canada.
So it's no surprise that Todd Bentley invited the founder of the Toronto Blessing, Randy Clark, to minister at this new revival.
I see some of you already, the power of God, it's like 110. God, make it 220.
Now, thousands and thousands of leaders and Christians were coming to Lakeland from all over the world to get an impartation of the Spirit.
Our focus here in Florida every night is I lay hands on every single person that comes, whether it's 5,000, 10,000, and I'm praying, God, give it away, give it away, give it away. That's the focus here, impartation.
Some are saying this is the most contagious anointing the world has ever seen.
Just look at what people are receiving here and taking back to their own city and their own church. Hundreds and hundreds of churches wherever this anointing went. Even Charisma magazine began to question some of what was going on. But that didn't stop the very biggest leaders in the charismatic movement from endorsing and promoting this movement. On June 23rd, 2008, they held a special commissioning ceremony for Todd Bentley live at Lakeland with the very biggest apostles and prophets of the charismatic movement. This is Peter Wagner, the head apostle of the entire charismatic movement worldwide. And here's Rick Joyner, the top prophet of the movement.
This commissioning represents a powerful spiritual transaction taking place in the invisible world. With this in mind, I take the apostolic authority that God has given me, and I decree to Todd Bentley, your power will increase, your authority will increase, your favor will increase, your influence will increase, your revelation will increase.
Of course, only weeks later, Todd Bentley's movement completely fell apart, and no amount of Stacey Campbell shaking her head was going to change that fact.
And receiving the tablets came after Numbers 24.
Just a few weeks later, on July the 9th, ABC Nightline had a special on Todd Bentley and the Lakeland Revival. Little did we know this would be the beginning of the end of the revival.
Can you supply us with 3 people who have been cured through miracle with their medical diagnosis House as their name, but we never got 3. Instead, we were given a binder filled with what Bentley says are stories of inspiring miracles. It offered incomplete contact information, a few pages of incomplete medical records, doctors' names were crossed out, and so not a single miracle claim of Bentley's could be verified.
But then came even more shocking news. Todd Bentley was separating from his wife. He'd apparently been having an affair with a female staff member even while the revival was going. And of course, at this point, the entire revival collapsed. Lee Grady, the editor of Charisma magazine, spoke for multitudes around the world when he wrote these words. Todd Bentley's announcement that his marriage is ending has thrown our movement into a tailspin, and questions need to be answered. It was not supposed to end like this. But sadly, that was not the end. Todd Bentley divorced his wife, married his girlfriend, and the biggest prophetic ministry in the world, run by Rick Joyner, undertook a speedy restoration process to fast-track Todd Bentley back on stage again. And now here he is, back again, ministering alongside his new wife.
And the thing about the elephant, it wasn't just an ordinary elephant, it was a wild elephant, a wild elephant.
As we've already seen, these same spasmodic head movements in Hinduism are taken as a sure sign of a kundalini awakening. Why then are we now seeing them in the church?
It is for everyone, for every Christian.
And so, aided and abetted by some of the biggest names in Christendom, Todd Bentley and others continue to spread this anointing right through the charismatic church.
I pray some of you would feel like you're getting electric.